Okay, so the last video that I posted popped off and a ton of you wanted to know the iced banana coffee recipe. So instead of responding to all of the comments individually, I decided I'm just gonna do this in video format and I'm gonna give you the banana coffee recipe, but this is not a food and drink account. I actually run a financial education company and this is my business account for that. So while I'm showing you how to make the coffee, we're gonna have a little chat about money at the same time. And don't worry, in case you just get so riveted by what I'm saying about money that you miss what I'm doing here, I will recap the whole recipe again for you at the end of the video. So the original video was all about the 5 things that I personally have decided that I'm no longer spending money on in 2023. And granted, like 20% of the comments on that video were about the banana coffee recipe, hence why I'm here. There were, of course, as always, people in the comments saying things like, oh my God, I would rather die than not spend money. And here's the thing. Unless you're a lucky enough person to have been born as a trust fund baby, which I know I'm not, then for the vast majority of us, money is always going to be a limited resource. No matter how well you do, no matter what you want, money is always going to be a limited resource in some respect. And it's up to each of us individually to decide how we want to use that resource. So when people are first ready to start turning their financial situations around, one of the first things that I get them to do is to implement a monthly expense tracking routine and to use that expense tracking routine to get really crystal clear on what their financial values are. And your financial values are the things that you spend money on that you love. You freaking love using your money on these things. These expenses light you up and get you out of bed in the morning and get you excited to be living another day in your life. Because I truly believe that doing good with your money or doing a good job of managing your money doesn't just come down to hoarding as much of your money as possible. Sure, it involves saving, investing, and preparing for your future responsibly. But it also means using the money that you have to build a life that you're also going to enjoy living in today. But when you first start thinking about what your financial values are, it can be really hard to figure out what you individually value because we are so constantly inundated with advertising and social media messaging telling us that we need to want more and do more and buy more and be more and have more and do all these things that require us spending money. So you really have to spend some time sitting with it and sort of peeling back the layers, okay? Peeling back the layers of all of the things that you've been conditioned to think you need to spend money on to be happy in order to find the things that actually make you happy when you spend your money on them. And what most people find when they start doing this, and what you probably also are going to find, is that when you really start to look at this, you're a much more simple person than you think you are. And the things that actually make you happy on a day-to-day basis are much more simple than you've been led to think that they are and cost much less money than you think. So one of the core lessons that I teach people to follow is to follow what's called a 3 values-based spending system. And what this means is that you're gonna pick 3 of your expense categories that you freaking love, and you're going to give yourself permission to spend your money on those categories without guilt and without shame. In exchange, though, any other non-essential spending in your life, you're going to cut that out. If it doesn't fit those 3 value categories, it's not what makes you the happiest, cut it for a while. And this serves 2 purposes. First, it's going to free up more of your financial resources to put towards your top 3 value categories, which is infinitely valuable. And second, of course, it's going to free up more money for you to pay off debt, build an emergency fund, and start saving and investing for your future, which you'll hear me say all the time. Those are the non-negotiables. Of course, I had to fit them into this video. So figure out what your top 3 financial value categories are. They can change sometimes over time as you evolve and grow as a person, but don't let them change month by month. Otherwise, you're just going to end up spending the same amount of money as you did before. So for example, my top 3 value categories right now are spending money on good quality ingredients to cook with at home. Like, you better believe it, I will spend money on the organic bananas over the conventional bananas because these suckers just taste so much better and just make me enjoy life more. Travel, that's a value category for me. I don't go wild, but if I don't have some kind of trip plan to look forward to, I go absolutely shack-wacky at home. And outsourcing work right now. Super happy to pay people to help me in my business so that I can free up more time in my life for, living life. For a while there, one of my top value categories was my dog. My other dog died during COVID and we needed a new puppy because I was like wasting away in the house without a dog, and all of the shelters at the time were like, here's this half dead one, would you like it? And my heart couldn't handle that, so you better believe we bought a COVID puppy, and that sucker was expensive, but I was like, you know what? I value this. Having a dog around makes my day so much better. So for a number of months while we paid him off, he was my top value category, and I cut out so much spending to justify having this dog in the house with me. So you kind of should get the idea of what your top value categories are. The key is that these are what matter to you. Not to other people, not to your family, not what society says should matter. These are the things that make you happy. I will be right back for the grand finale. 1 second. So if you want to learn more about expense tracking and values-based spending, then go take a look at the link in my bio. There are tons of free resources in there for you to get started. There's free downloads. There's a YouTube show that I produce once a week. I have a podcast. Whatever way you like to learn best, you can find it in there. Or if you are ready to just stop wasting time and get started and fast track yourself, I also offer a full course on expense tracking and values-based spending that teaches you everything you need to know and also has a spreadsheet with a whole column devoted to rating your expenses to figure out what your financial values are. And it also comes with a workbook where I walk you through a bunch of reflection work to peel back those layers of conditioning and figure out what it is that you truly value. So you can go either route. Course, I have tons of free material on there too. Just go check out the link in the bio. And thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Now, as promised, here is the recipe for the banana coffee. Yep, this one tastes good, so I can show you, or I can share with you what was in here. So this should be a little bit thicker. Usually I use a frozen banana. I didn't have any, so I added an extra ice cube. Didn't quite do the trick. Freeze your bananas if you can. So this was 1 or 2 shots of espresso, a splash of almond milk. Don't ask me for exact measurements. I'm not that kind of girly. A splash. You should figure out what a splash is. A banana, like I said, a frozen banana is better, and 3 or 4 ice cubes. Blend it all up. It is delicious. I got this from a little juice truck in Costa Rica, and I was hooked. So enjoy, and as always, feel free to ask more questions or leave any comments in the comments section or send me a DM. TikTok DMs are confusing, so find me on Instagram and send me a DM there if you have any other questions.